ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयो श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुर्। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। ओम शांति शांति शांति। भगवान श्री रामकृष्ण देव के चरणों में वंदन करते हुए, श्री माँ शारदा देवी तथा स्वामी विवेकानंद के चरणों में वंदन करते हुए सभी उपस्थित श्रोतागणों का अभिवादन। आज हम सेकंड डे में, दूसरे दिन में प्रवेश कर रहे हैं, इवॉल्विंग यू। तो मैं जस्ट नाउ इनवाइट डॉक्टर वस्तारे टू कम एंड डिलीवर हर टॉक ऑन टुडेज टॉपिक। प्लीज कम।
स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। जननीं शारदां देवीं रामकृष्णं जगद्गुरुं पादपद्मे तयोर्श्रित्वा प्रणमामि मुहुर्मुहुः। नमः श्रीयतिराजाय विवेकानन्दसूरये सच्चित्सुखस्वरूपाय स्वामिने तापहारिणे। My loving pranams at the feet of the Holy Trio. My loving pranams to revered Swami Ishtamayananda Ji and the monks of the Ramakrishna order. And my loving pranams to you all, the seekers of knowledge. Today is the second day. Sorry, I have the wrong one. I have tomorrow's presentation. I end up sorry about that. Okay. Here we go. Let's just recap what we discussed yesterday. And I would like to recap through the help of a story. Because whether we know it or not, scientifically it has proven that our brains are wired to understand through stories. And we all know that. We can understand so quickly through stories, right? So whatever we discussed yesterday, I know it was intense at times, but let us learn that in a different way, through a different format, through a story. You might have heard about this. This is the story of 3 stone cutters. Actually, the story was made famous by the management guru, Peter Drucker, if you have heard his name. But it's also can be used in many different ways and angles, and especially from the spiritual angle. That is my interest. So this is the story of 3 stone cutters. Imagine. The story can also be a thought experiment, right? You can visualize a remote village and there is some construction work that is going on, and a stranger passes by this village, and seeing these stone cutters, he asks a question to the first stone cutters. He says, "Oh, my dear friend, can you tell me what you're doing?" And the first stone cutter says, What is this? Are you blind or something? Can't you see I'm cutting stones? I said, okay. And then he goes to the second stone cutter and asks the same question, what are you doing? And the second stone cutter says, you know, I have a family to feed. This is the only thing I know how to do. And I do it very well. So I'm cutting stones because I'm the sole breadwinner for the family. And then he says, okay. And then he goes to the third stone cutter and asks the same question. What are you doing? And the third stone cutter looks up and says, thanks for asking. You know what? They're building a temple in this village, and I am part of building that temple. Such a simple story. Look at this. Just one question. The same question was put for 3 stone cutters. He got 3 different answers. All the stone cutters were paid the same salary, no difference in the salary. Except the third stone cutter was able to connect with something higher and greater than just the work that he was doing. So the same question, 3 different answers. This is where we can learn my favorite quote. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at will change. The same way, if we connect this story to what we learned yesterday, I'm not going to ask you to do anything extra once you go back home. Whoever that you're going to take care of, you have to do this, this, and this. Then only you can evolve through caregiving. None of that. All we need to do is to have a totally different outlook. The work remains the same. Just our outlook, the way we are looking at that work itself has to be different. But mind you, it seems easy, but especially with respect to caregiving, it is not that easy. I know some of you might be thinking, because these are the questions that I get when I talk about this in many different places, including different cultures, different countries, different continents. It's easy for you to say, you have no idea what my mother-in-law is like. I will just go through this caregiving, just survive through this. I will think about evolving from a different perspective. Truly get such answers. But that is where, if we go dig deeper and say, we don't have to do anything extra. And it's not just changing our perspective in a superficial way. That is why science can take us up so far. Until and unless we combine something extra, then that work that we are doing will not just remain as work. And that is how any work, which work is called karma, any work can be converted into karma yoga when we change the way we are looking at that work. But that's a different topic and question for a different day, not for now. But the caregiving, the same work, how can we change our perspective and also evolve? Very simple. We need to know why we need to do this. And we have to ask one simple question for ourselves. Through caregiving, do I want to just adjust and just go through this experience and be done with this, which is what we call it in a scientific way, quote unquote, survival mode? Or do I want to evolve through this experience? Just that question, simple question. Do I want to survive through this or do I want to evolve? Mind you, no answer either way, whichever answer you give, both are correct. Or there is no wrong answer. Just like with those three stone cutters, all answers were correct. No answer was wrong. At times, if that is all what you need to do, that is fine. But once we go a little bit extra, going just beyond just understanding through science, then we will know. Just by understanding our mind and changing our perspective, if we can evolve, then it's not just caregiving. Any work that we do, we will be able to evolve through even chores that we do. Whether it is cooking, cleaning, driving, working at an office, whatever we do, it is possible to convert that to an activity so that we can evolve through that. So with that, recapping of yesterday's topic, we will move on to today's topic. Of course, you're going to see the same slide. The first couple of slides, it's going to be the same. We learned how we need to be lifelong learners so that we develop an evolving mindset, growth mindset, transformative mindset, if you may. And then harmony, that is what Sri Ramakrishna stood for, is so important first at our individual level. How we need to harmonize our thought, our speech, and our action. Kaya, Vacha, Manasa. And that's actually a prerequisite for evolving. And we also understood what religion, there are many different definitions that Swami Vivekananda has given on religion, and this is so apt for our series of talks. I have chosen this, which is religion is the idea which is raising the brute unto man and man unto God. Another way of saying, we have both animalistic tendencies and humanistic tendencies. First, we need to move from the animalistic tendencies to human tendencies. That is where it will also be mixed with everything else too, and transcend those and transform those to divine qualities, which is nothing but, I don't have to go into detail about what are animalistic tendencies, what are human tendencies, and what are the divine qualities. We know what are the divine qualities. The same qualities humans also have those, but those qualities are restricted for me and my family. And even in my family, those who are very close to me or whom I like. So those qualities are restricted for certain close people of ours within that little circle. If we expand that circle, that is when the same human qualities become divine qualities. So we also said yesterday we looked at how through caregiving we can evolve. Today we're going to understand how by developing an attitude of gratitude can we evolve, and how and when should we evolve, that we're going to cover tomorrow, which is right in the present moment. And we also said evolving has to be a joyous process so that the path itself becomes the goal. The journey becomes our destination so that we can enjoy this process of evolving. If we are stressed out, that could be a trigger to evolve, but we will never be able to evolve when we are stressed out, when we have certain enemies in our mind at least, or certain hatredness towards certain communities, certain nations. It is not going to be possible to evolve to the extent that our gurus and our gods would like us to evolve to that stage. So, this attitude of gratitude, developing this attitude, we are going to look at both from a scientific angle and from the spiritual angle. Again, I knew you would be coming, so there are certain youngsters, so I have put in some more stories today. And let's start with the story before I get into what is gratitude itself. You might know this story, but let us see in the context. A blind boy sat on the steps of a building with a hat by his feet. He held up a sign that said, "I am blind, please help." And there were only a few coins in the hat. A man was walking by. He took a few coins from his pocket and threw them into the hat. He then took the sign, turned it around, and wrote something on that sign. And he wrote some words. And he put the sign back so that everyone who walked could see the new words. Soon the hat began to fill up. A lot more people came and gave a lot more money. That afternoon, the man who had changed the sign stopped by again to see how things were going. And the boy recognized his footsteps and asked, "Were you the person who came this morning and wrote something on this board? And what did you write?" he asked. And the man said, "I only wrote the truth. I said what you said, but in a little different way. And I wrote, 'Today is a beautiful day, but I can't see it.'" See, both signs told people that the boy was blind. That's the truth. But the first sign simply said the boy was blind. Whereas the second sign told the people that they were so lucky and grateful that they were not blind. So should we be surprised how that turned out? Let's keep this story in mind as we go along and learn what is gratitude and the science behind it. We had heard that story. We have also done that. It's not that all of a sudden people became so good that they were able to empathize with the blind boy and so they were able to give more money. It's not that. In this busyness of this world, we forget many things. We forget the very essence of meaning and purpose of our lives. We get so caught up in our day-to-day things. Even if we see a beggar, sometimes it is so tough. Sometimes we don't even want that beggar to come close to our car because it is getting late for us to go to work. It's not that we are bad people. We have all done that. If we can figure out the true meaning and purpose of our lives and try and lead a life that we are grateful for as much as possible until it becomes like every moment, just like what they say in the spiritual field, ajapa japa, that is at the mental level. Can we, at the action level, try to be grateful for everything that is around us? It's a tall order, and I have been trying so hard. But with the right company, many a times doing it alone may not even be possible. With that right company, I can assure you, being with the sadhu sangha, at a personal level, I'm just sharing this, it is possible. So, what do we usually do? We think that meaning and purpose of life is all about we want happiness and we don't want suffering. So we are after happiness, right? So what do we do with this? We do series of things. We go on the internet and then we go into, only 4 steps. You can be happier. We try that. And then there are 17 different ways of being happy. And we try all of that, isn't it? And then 10 secrets for happiness. As simple as that. Keep drinking water and drink more. Keep walking and walk more. That will give you happiness. We try all of those. I'm not saying anything wrong. I'm not making any value judgments in any of this. This is all what we have done. I'm just trying to say how we seek it. And 10 scientific ways. This might be better. We tried all of those. So we try other things also. Scientific ways because they are proven. And somebody says, you know what? Happiness is a now thing. Don't plan for later. It is a now thing. It has to happen in the now. So even that we try. All of that is okay, and then we come across a comic strip and saying that you're looking for happiness, and then he says, where did you find it? And then we realize that we have to create it ourselves, and then we realize that happiness is an inside job. Right? We also do that. We try everything. But have we heard about gratitude? But before that, then we realize happiness is not a goal that we need to be working towards. It has to be a byproduct. With that, then if that is the case, if it is a byproduct, and if it is inside us, if it is an inside job, and if happiness is a now thing, then how do we create it? And how can we find that within us? We try all of this, but yet many a times we are at a loss. This is where in the present moment, based on the recent advances in scientific research, science has come to the rescue, not for anything else. We knew all of this from the scriptural angle, but science has come to the rescue to make us understand in a very simple way, that's all. And what is that? Have we heard about gratitude? And what is the relationship between gratitude and happiness? All along you were talking about happiness, and all of a sudden you switch for gratitude. What is it? And what is the relationship between gratitude and happiness is a normal question that will arise in our minds. The newest research shows something against our conventional wisdom and common sense. What do we usually think for people who have gratitude? Oh, they have everything. They are so happy. These are the people who are happy, who have everything, and that is why they are grateful. But science has proven the other way around. People who are grateful are happier. This goes against our conventional wisdom, if you may. Goes against common sense too. But this is what the newest scientific research has proven. People who are grateful are happier. And especially religious people are naturally grateful. We know that. We have heard about our parents and grandparents. For everything they are grateful for God. But what you're saying does not make sense sometimes with some people. They are very grateful. They keep saying thanks to God for everything, highly religious people. But we don't see them as happy as you're talking about. Again, a doubt arises in our mind. Isn't that so? It has come to me as a scientist. That is when, we need to know the why we are doing what we are doing. Because many a times, especially when we are religious, and it has happened to me also, just like everybody else, it becomes a mechanical thing. Not only religious thing for me, at a personal level, having spent more than 40 years in US, thank you, saying thank you can become so mechanical without thinking. You just say thanks for everything. This I realized even before the results of this research came about. It should not be said in a mechanical way, thank you. And many a times, many religious people would say in a mechanical way, not knowing, not feeling from a conscious perspective why they are grateful to God for things that they have. That we can understand why we should be grateful for God for things that we have. Can we also say that why we should be grateful for the things that we don't have? It's a deep question, something to ponder about, open-ended question. I will leave it at that. And then as we go along, let us see if it gets answered. If it still doesn't get answered, we will take it up at the end. Not only should we be grateful for the things that we do not have at times, and also, yes, when things are going okay, when people are praising us, we are very thankful about it. Our own parents, our own grandparents, our own teachers, our own gurus, if they say certain things in a firm manner, can we still be grateful for that? Then we have arrived to be grateful for certain things. As a side note, it's coming to my mind, I have to put this in, especially, I just returned from South Africa, and I've been there quite a few times, going to Ramakrishna Ashram and doing the seva there. And I've kind of understood the culture there, both in the ashram and in the devotees. And one of the things there, a lot of things are run by volunteers, especially in South Africa, that I have seen in the ashrams. That there are so many volunteers here, including me, that we all need to learn. Most of the things are run by volunteers. There is only many a times just one sadhu for one big ashram, the rest run by volunteers. And the work, it is Thakur's work. And who knows best? Our sadhus, right? They are trained. And it has to be done in a certain way. When it is not done in a certain way, it has to be done quickly, and there will be certain firm instructions, of course, right? And then what do the devotees call that? Oh, today I got prasad from Swamiji, from Maharaj. Many of them learn from that quickly. But some volunteers cannot handle that, and they drop off. But you think it is possible? And then after some time, they come back again to do the volunteering work. But some of us have learned whatever that comes from the sadhus, they are trained in such a way. And whatever we are doing, all of us, including our sadhus and us, we are all doing Thakur's work. And the South African term for that is our master's work. That is how they say. We are all doing Thakur's work. And especially when we get certain firm instructions, can we still be grateful for that? Just to ponder about, open-ended question. And that is where we can learn a lot when we are grateful. And sometimes it is their fault. Sometimes it is not their fault. Certain misunderstanding in a team, but still they get the prasad. And still can we take it in as real prasad and be grateful. Something, yeah, I'm sure you will get those answers at the end, I'm hoping. So basically, gratitude is the key to happiness. We will just stay at the level of happiness, and then we will also see what that happiness is. I'm not talking about the ultimate happiness which is already within us, but at our mundane level, what we are seeking, joy, pleasure, happiness, and to avoid suffering. Yes, gratitude is one of the greatest tools that we have. So, and some of you might have heard her name, Oprah Winfrey, one of the most popular figures in US. She says, gratitude is the foundation of happiness. So if you want to be happy, be grateful. As simple as that. But it doesn't happen. Well, it happens automatically. I cannot say it won't happen automatically. It happens automatically. I'm not talking about the automatic reaction that we say either thanks or I'm grateful as a lip service. Something very, very deep, and consciously doing this is what we should be after. So we need to choose to be grateful. So with all of this, what does this all mean to us? Which means we need to dig deeper to know what is gratitude. Of course, why gratitude? Now we know that already. We can be happier. And when should we be grateful, and how? More importantly, how to be grateful. And then we will look into this from a neuroscience perspective or scientific. All I'm going to now present is based on evidence-based research. I'll just go through some of these slides and then we will get into how, and there are certain tips and there are different ways how we can be grateful, and then we will look into that. So first of all, what is gratitude? Gratitude is a conscious, not an automatic thing we're talking about, but a conscious, thankful appreciation for what we receive. It could be either tangible or intangible way of expressing. And when we are grateful, we acknowledge what is good in our lives. That means we're going to be focusing on what is going right rather than what is not going right. This is the most important thing that we need to understand what gratitude is. And in the process of being grateful, we usually recognize that source, the source of that goodness, whoever has helped us. And it lies partially outside of us. Look at that. We can take this to a different level if we have to bring in spirituality to this definition of gratitude. See, we always say, go inward, go inward. Yes. But here we are talking about recognizing that there is something greater than us. There is something outside of us that is making us happier. So we need to be grateful for something outside of us too. Because we are so used to focusing on outside, this is one way of really focusing on things that are outside of us. What is it that I can be grateful for? How can I be grateful for? If this is on our mind, truly this is one of the ways we can truly be evolving. At a scientific level, we can get to a very high level and then combine other tools to truly evolve. So it has two aspects, gratitude. One, it has to come from within, right? We also have to be grateful for what is happening inside of us and to recognize things that are happening outside because of circumstances, because of people. We are getting benefited and we need to be grateful for that. So this is a typical inside-out approach and outside-in approach, if you ask me, to understand what gratitude is. It has two aspects. And now let's move to the research that has happened on gratitude. You can see the names of the scientists from different universities, University of California, University of Miami, and University of Pennsylvania. I was part of that University of Pennsylvania healthcare system, wherein Dr. Martin Seligman, he's known to be one of the fathers of positive psychology, and Robert Emmons and Michael McCullough, they have done so much work on gratitude the past a decade or so, and they say there is a very close association between gratitude and our well-being or our health, both physical health and our mental health. And the others like Robert Waldinger, I have to talk about just for a minute or so about this work that is happening at Harvard. It's a longitudinal ongoing study. It is happening for more than 87 years. It is one of the longest research project that is happening, and it is still happening. There are more than one project director for that because the first project director was so old and then he passed away, and there are a couple more who have come, and another person has retired, and if I'm correct, he is the third project director for that project. longest research study on adult development at Harvard University. And there they say, being grateful can provide both physical and mental health benefits. And people have seemed to live longer. Remember, 87-year-old study. So they have taken students at Harvard University 87 years back, and some of those students have later on gone and become president of US. And they were part of this study, and they're still part of this study, and it's still happening. And they have shown, statistically proven, that being grateful improves physical and mental health and the longevity. People live longer when they are grateful. And Wharton School, this is one of the top schools, business school in University of Pennsylvania, business school called Wharton School. The research that has been done there, they say being grateful can truly improve interpersonal relationships. Whenever I get a chance to talk about interpersonal relationships, I have to put this in. This might surprise you, but this is a fact. Much more than our health, much more than our wealth, it is the interpersonal relationships that are most important in anybody's life. Just use simple logic, that is enough. We see people who are extremely healthy and highly wealthy, but without good, meaningful, purposeful interpersonal relationships, they might even live longer, it doesn't matter. But are they happy? Are they evolving? They could even be happy in a selfish way. But from a scientific perspective, if you look at them, do you think they are evolving? Absolutely not. Whether you take it from a scientific angle or from a spiritual angle. Whereas, see people who are senior citizens, who are old, who could be even bedridden, not healthy, they could even be poor, with great, meaningful, purposeful relationships. They can be happier and they can be evolving to the greatest extent. It does not take money, it does not take education, it does not take us to be healthy to be evolving, is what I'm trying to get. Mostly, the easiest way to be evolving is to have meaningful and purposeful relationships. I'm just talking from a scientific angle. If you take from the spiritual angle, this is what the Upanishads talk about, that you connect with each and everybody because of the divinity that is already within each and every one of us. I've just put it in a very simple manner. This is what our Upanishads also talk about. So, and another great work has been done in this research institute in California, Berkeley, California, on gratitude. And they've even coined a term saying being grateful is like social glue. It can build nurturing, meaningful, and purposeful relationships. This is what most of the people do at a business level through networking. If anybody has taken a course on NLP, that is what they talk about, to be grateful and to mirror each other's external habits, and this is how you can come closer to other people, and this is being used in a very positive way in business relationships. This is what we usually call that as networking. Just imagine when networking can work at such a high level in such a beautiful manner, and if we can combine that with a different intention, not just for the sake of business, but for our own health, happiness, and for our own evolving, how much more would it be? Use the same tool and have it for a higher and greater cause. So it becomes a social glue. And how and why being grateful leads to happiness? We can just go through this. There are many different ways, because gratitude, we have to make it as our attitude. And by expressing gratefulness to others and for things, it builds up our self-esteem. And this is what helps us to focus on little things, just like what they say, stop and smell the roses. Have we done that? When we walk through, where does our mind goes in? To the dirty streets. And right amongst the dirt, there will be a tiny little plant with a tiny little flower. Can we notice that? And I can assure you, after today, and if you're already doing that, it will become more. And if we have not paid attention, be only because of our busyness, that's all. Now we will start noticing those things. Those little things we will start noticing. And when we notice, just at the level of the mind, just being happy. We don't have to keep saying, I'm grateful, I'm grateful. Noticing and remembering something that is bigger and greater, that is making this little beautiful flower grow amongst all of this dirt on the street. That is enough for us to focus on little things and to be grateful. This definitely will help to cope with our stress, being grateful. Ultimately, we will learn so much. Just being stressed out itself we will be grateful for, because each time we get stressed out, we remember this, and that is how we can actually, rather than just managing stress, we will build up resilience by being grateful. And we can be more empathetic, as the story showed with that little boy. And certainly it has shown being grateful reduces our negative tendencies of anger, bitterness, hatred, envy, and whatnot. So with this, then how do we cultivate gratitude? There are different ways, and then we're going to go deeper into this. Different 7 ways of cultivating gratitude. As I said earlier, it is the shortest path to being happy, and but sometimes it is not that easy. Or if you're grateful, it is too automatic, we also feel awkward at many times. So science has shown us, given ways how you can be truly grateful, to actually visualize and to truly feel. The feelings and emotions are extremely important here. So when it becomes mechanical, there is a way that we can be grateful. Because again, to be thankful for everything, many a times again it becomes mechanical. So every week or every day, pick a category that you want to be grateful for. Make it a little bit more fun, or so that you can think about. For example, today I want to be grateful for everything that I see through or experience through my senses. So we will be focusing on whatever we see, whatever we hear, what can we be grateful for. Another day or another week, choose that I want to be grateful for all my old friends. I want to be another week, I want to be grateful for the teachers. I want to be grateful for the things that I have. So pick a category and go deeper into that so that it does not become mechanical. So no matter what we say, at times it does become mechanical. That is when our self-awareness, we talked about self-awareness yesterday, it's one of the most important qualities of our conscious mind. We need to be aware that it is becoming mechanical and then switch it to a conscious, deliberate, effortful ways of doing. So just going to go through 7 tips of how we can cultivate this gratitude, and what is it, what is the tool, and how can we cultivate. These are all very straightforward instructions, so I'll just go through very quickly. Something very simple. Many a times we say that to ourselves, in our mind. So rather than that, say it out loud. That itself will help, because even scientifically, when you say thinking, it is at one level. When we say it, we also hear it, and we have to think and then we have to say it. So it becomes a little bit more powerful. And then how do we practice that? Now we have cell phones. We can just say what we are grateful for, because if you just think, thoughts are effervescent. By the time you go home, you would have forgotten that, if it were not to be a very strong feeling. So record that on your cell phone, or these days everybody will have that cell phone. We don't have to have a special voice memo. And then at the end of the day, before going to bed, just listen to your own voice memo and then see how you're going to relive that. Usually, what do we relive? The things that did not happen okay. Because that is also important. We need to reflect and see what we can learn from that. But after that, if we listen to what we were grateful for that day, our own voice, and end the day with that, it will be a beautiful experience. And the second tip is, write down what you're grateful for. This is even more powerful than just thinking or saying it. Writing is even more powerful. So this is what we call it, journaling. There are many attitude of gratitude journals these days that you can get it on the internet. Beautiful ones, but that is fancy. If we would like, we can get that. But as simple as, just keep a book, separate book for this, and sit at the same place at the same time every day and write 3 things that you're grateful for, and see how it changes your life. Extremely simple, but very difficult for people to do. This I have been saying for years together. People who have done it will vouch for it, and people who have not done it feel so bad, and they say, I can't think of what I have to be grateful for. I'm not blaming them. This is one of the common things that we get into. Many a times it's only because not that we are not grateful, not that we cannot remember, not that we cannot think, it's only because of the busyness of our lives. And then I keep asking questions to them. And then they're, oh, is this the way? When we turn on the switch, we know that light comes out, right? I'm saying this because just come from, as I said, South Africa. There they call load shedding. So many hours during the day. And it's on rotation from one area to another. And sometimes it happens all of a sudden. And most of the talks were on Zoom. In less than 10 minutes, I had to be transferred from the ashram to somebody devotee's house so I could start the Zoom session, the talks, because of load shedding, which is power cut. That is what we call here, right? This is the term that they use. I had not heard that. Load shedding happens so many hours during the day. Now, anytime, it happened. The first few times I came, and then it becomes automatic. I will forget. Every time do you think I switch on the light switch, I'll be grateful for that? It won't. It becomes mechanical for everybody. But we need to understand this, make it into a habit, to be conscious, to be effortful, to be deliberate. Third, share whatever you're grateful for with others. This becomes even more powerful. There are so many different ways that you can see. As simple as that. We take Jugnu autos or cabs, not just in a mechanical way to be thankful. Are we grateful for that driver? Then you might think, and he won't even expect that, and he will look at you in a quizzical way. You're paying me. Why should you thank me? I should be thankful to you, is what he thinks. This has happened to me, whichever place that I go to. But can we be grateful for that trip that you take? Can we thank the person at the grocery store? Can we thank that person? It doesn't happen as much in Indian streets. Somebody stops the car and asks you to cross the road. Some places it might. Can we be thankful for that? And if you are living in a gated community, for that security guard, or in the office for the person, these days there are no lift operators, but any person who gives some type of service, even if you have paid for that, can we be grateful? Let it come out as a thanks, but inside, with feeling, and see the change that happens in that person. This, I'm saying this with experience. Especially if you're living in a gated community, several hundreds of apartments, and we should not do it as a strategy, but truly inside, feeling, with the right feeling, if we do any of this, it will happen. Because anyway, we make calls, we give gifts to the people, but the genuineness of that feeling is what is important. Of course, it's getting more intense now, the meditation on gratitude. You can go on the internet, there are many different meditation links. Either they will start off with what you have to be grateful for, all the 5 elements in the nature, starting from that, what we have to be grateful for, the things at home, and for our own body, for our liver, for digesting, our digestive system. It can go to whatever extent to be grateful for. Make it until it becomes truly a habit, but not in a mechanical way, in a conscious way, and see the results. How can you be grateful in advance, right? This is quizzical. Absolutely. Again, in this busyness of the world, before you go somewhere, think how you can be grateful for that experience or for such people. And again, deliberately, effortfully, consciously, these are the buzzwords. And write it down, that what you are specifically grateful for. Another thing, this is what many a times when I go and speak at corporates, this is what I tell them. For 2 things. Set your alarm on your phone. 1, physical activity is extremely important. We don't realize, especially if we have sitting job, and most of us these days, that is what we do. We don't realize, this is aside from the gratitude, I'm just trying to put a note here. We don't realize now, if I just say this buzzword phrase, you will understand. We equate sitting, the effects of sitting for longer times, to the effects of smoking. Sitting is the next smoking. It has so much of cardiovascular effects just sitting down. These days, most of us have that, we sit and do the job. So what do I do at corporates? I tell them, put an alarm every hour on the hour. Just at every hour on the hour, get up from your desk, go around. This is also networking. Talk to people or go to the water fountain. Take a sip of water. Whatever you do, just 5 minutes, keep walking. And then the next 1 hour is okay. Just imagine, if you're spending 8 hours in the office, 5 minutes every hour on the hour, you calculate. But just that is not going to be enough for your exercise. You'd still have to go for a walk or to the gym. But in a similar manner, when you put that alarm, think about what you should be grateful for that 1 hour. Whatever you're doing, whether at home or at office or as students learning, whatever we think, either that hour or think about what we can be grateful for at that moment. This is how we build up that practice. Another important thing, extremely important, how to be grateful for difficult circumstances. We don't realize. Yes, we go through, after we have gone through certain difficult circumstances, we can agree. But those difficult circumstances won't stop at one time or one age. Something or other will come up in everybody's lives, challenges. Can we be grateful for challenges as we are going through that? Because now with experience, we know for sure we have come out of many of the difficult circumstances earlier, and so I will come out of this one too. Just that also is enough, right? And as we're going through difficult circumstances, can we be grateful? Right? You can see the expression on your faces. Absolutely. And it does not happen. We have not thought about it this way. We just have to consciously, effortfully, deliberately make it a practice. How do we develop that gratefulness going through difficult circumstances? So go through your email. This is for all these old albums. These days we don't have albums, either email or on the phone. All the photos, everything is stored, right? Using technology. Go through, scroll through. And remember, what do we scroll through? Only the nice pictures and whenever we had fun. Of course you need to go through that. But during difficult circumstances, whatever that you can remember, remind yourself of that. Not to bring back sad memories, but focus on how you were able to overcome those and to be grateful for that and make that as a practice. Usually when we go through or remember past experiences, it brings back sad memories and we try not to, right? So this is a practice, deliberate training of the mind to go through the past difficult situations and focus on the things and how we overcame. Focus on the positive things, not on the things that bring us sad memories. Another thing, this we can all learn. How can we be grateful? We can learn to be grateful by hearing somebody else's ways of showing gratefulness. Just now, and this is happening for many days as I come here to this ashram. Our senior monk, Rajendra Maharaj, is here. If you just spend some time with him, you will get so many stories how things has happened in his life or in many great, including the first direct disciples' lives. When you hear that, and then it is but natural to become grateful. I can assure you that. It is as simple as that. Hearing somebody else who has gone through life experiences and when they share their stories, and it becomes such a natural and a beautiful way to develop that attitude of gratitude. So with those 7 tips, we will move on to how. We're looking at a scientific angle, right? How it affects being grateful. How does it affect at the level of the brain, at the level of chemicals? Very simply, it releases 4 of those chemicals: dopamine, endorphin, oxytocin. These are all kind of happy hormones, if you may. By being grateful, these are the neurochemicals that are released that will have the direct effect. But we will also see how developing an attitude of gratitude can become a psychotherapeutic intervention. This, I will just talk to you about a case, then you will be able to understand the next few slides I'm going to show. This is with the family, mother and daughter who came. All of a sudden, an elderly lady, mother, goes into either depression, anxiety, whatever reason. And then all I did was to tell the daughter, just make your mom think about what she can be grateful for, three things that she can be grateful for every day. Just have a conversation with her. Sit at the same place, same time, because that's also for law of association. The mind gets ready when we are sitting at the same place, same time, having the same book when we write it down, right? The same way. Have this conversation with your mom. What she should be grateful for, or whatever she was grateful for that day first. Later on with the past, let her focus on the present, that day, whatever she was grateful for. And this person did much more than what I requested. She took a book, made her mother write 3 things that she was grateful for that day. Literally within a month or so, her health improved so much, she still has kept that book, gratitude journal, that she made her mother write. We want to take that. I have not seen what she has written, but one of the days when we're going to start writing, we're going to put that in and then show people it really works. This is the prelude for the next few slides. How do we interrupt anxiety? By being grateful. Anxiety, I say, that each and every person, without any exception, will have anxiety in some time or other in their lives. When that happens, interrupt anxiety. We don't even have to call that as a treatment. If we can interrupt anxiety, we don't have to go to that treatment level. But developing an attitude of gratitude is a sure treatment for anxiety as well as depression. So that is why we say gratitude is a psychotherapeutic intervention. How does that work? When we are grateful for things, this is where our negativity comes down. Lot of the negative feelings and negative thoughts, you will be able to see. Others will be able to recognize those who are around you. That is where you will also get more confidence. So with that, it's a direct response. As I mentioned earlier, gratitude improves our mental health. How? By this. But sometimes it will take some time. Few weeks, few months, but it is sure to have benefits for sure. And you might be surprised. I have just listed, you can just go through, but each one is backed by evidence-based research. There are plenty of journal articles that you can find for each one of these that I have given. It's not that we can be, we will start writing the attitude of gratitude journal and then check our blood pressure and then see in a month it has not come down. Don't go that way. It is bound to. Or else ask how many days will it take, then okay, I can refer to that paper and then tell you it took 21 days in this scientific paper. That is just a road map. We need to believe in science and believe in ourselves. If it hasn't worked, it is not that the science is wrong. Our way of showing gratitude, we need to go deeper. Maybe it is mechanical. Maybe it is not as filled with feelings as it should. Maybe it is not as conscious as we think. But it is bound to improve all these health conditions. And more. I have to have 2 slides for the benefits of gratitude. And all of that, what you saw in those 2 slides, in the form of a pictorial diagram. Nicer to watch how it reduces depression, more positive emotions, happier, reduce pain, definitely reduce stress and anxiety. So, the science behind gratitude, it's not just a pleasant feeling. When we say being grateful leads to happiness, the first thing we say, oh, it's a feeling. We will feel happy for some time and it will go away. No, it becomes like a state of mind. But for that, we need to practice on a regular basis, not from a mechanical religious perspective, but with a conscious religious perspective, knowing why and how this works. Not in a mechanical way, but from a conscious way when we do it, either from a scientific angle or from a religious angle, bound to work. So that is the science again behind. When we develop this attitude of gratitude, what happens? One of the striking things here for me is it will strengthen our positive recall. What does that mean? So many things happen in our lives in the day, but we focus mostly on the negative things because of the bias, right? Now, when we are grateful, we will be able to recall a lot of the positive things that are happening to us. Extremely important aspect of developing an attitude of gratitude. And then it will deepen resilience. What is resilience? We know we usually focus on managing stress, isn't it? Rather than managing stress, we need to develop resilience. That means when we develop resilience, we will be better than before. If we are stressed out, as we develop resilience, we will be better than when we started out with stress. So that's the science behind science of gratitude. So with that, let us conclude with few more aspects and see. If we need to be happy, we know we need to be grateful. And being grateful can only happen in the now, right? Whatever has happened in the past, negative or positive, does not matter. We have overcome those. So learn from the past rather than ignoring the past. Learn from the past, not regret about the past, not having regrets, but learn from the past and plan for the future. No anxiety attached to the future, but plan for the future and be grateful in the present moment. Because as we said, happiness is a now thing, right? Happiness can only happen in the here and now. Now, I'm just making a statement of this today. We're going to see how happiness can only happen in the now tomorrow, when we're going to deep into what does that mean to be evolving here and now. This statement we will understand at a deeper level tomorrow. So if you want to be happy, very simple. practice gratitude. Know this? We will start appreciating what we have in our lives when we practice an attitude of gratitude. So that happiness, we need to design happiness too. And how do we do that? We will see that tomorrow. So, choose consciously, deliberately, effortfully. Without effort, nothing can happen. That means it is automatic, mechanical. It won't have results. Choose consciously to be grateful and let gratitude be your attitude. When we develop an attitude of gratitude, can assure you that this is the surest way to evolve and to bring in spirituality. This is what has been said in Viveka Chudamani. The first thing we have to be grateful for is that we are born as human beings. I think it is the very third shloka of Viveka Chudamani says, Durlabham trayame vaitat daivanugraha hetukam manushyatvam mumukshatvam mahapurusha samshrayaha. We are born as human beings. Only human beings have the capacity to realize God. That is from the devotional side, right? To realize God. Only human beings have the capacity to understand ourselves. Who we are. Who am I? That is from the knowledge path. Both are the same, no difference. Only human beings have this capacity. And this is what has been said in Bhagavatam. Brahmavalokadhishanam. And for that, we need to be grateful that we are born as human beings so that we have the capacity to evolve into better and better human beings, which is not a stage to reach, but that evolution of human beings is on a moment to moment to moment basis until our last breath. So let us make gratitude as our attitude so we can evolve into a new us. Thank you.
It is very difficult to speak after such a thoughtful talk, but still it is necessary. And it will be a continued journey in connection with this. I am sure you will understand when I announce and I will speak to that. First of all, madam, we are very happy and really we have a great lesson today. Gratitude in a different angle, in a scientific manner, in a way we never have thought. So first of all, on behalf of everybody, I thank you. So in this connection, Madam has said, practical gratitude, guided meditation, if you have just concentrated and just remember. And then calm the nervous system. This can be done with spiritual retreat. All these things can be done through spiritual retreat. आध्यात्मिक शिविर. Every month, हर महीने में एक बार रामसा मिशन बड़ौदा में मतलब we here conduct a spiritual retreat. Spiritual retreat conduct करते हैं. So incidentally, it is tomorrow. So it is very relevant, and so I thought just to announce it for today's मतलब this after lecture. So tomorrow आध्यात्मिक शिविर है। आध्यात्मिक शिविर में जप, ध्यान, मंत्रोच्चार, थोड़ा गीता पाठ एंड गाइडेड थिंग्स ऑन प्रैक्टिकल स्पिरिचुअलिटी। प्रैक्टिकल स्पिरिचुअलिटी में जैसे राजेंद्र महाराज मैडम हैज़ मैंशन, ही इज़ ऑल्सो गोइंग टू स्पीक, अवर बड़ा महाराज Istamayan Ji Maharaj is going to speak, our senior monks are going to speak, and they will guide us in spiritual day-to-day life, which will help us to understand all these things. So, ये spiritual retreat में कल spot registration is possible, registration is possible, कल 8:30 से 12:30 तक है ये. So I welcome you all, I invite you all, जिसको मतलब those who can make it, please come. And we are meeting tomorrow by 7 o'clock, tomorrow for the concluding lecture of Dr. Vasthare. Thank you one and all.